Hello everyone, welcome to today's daily portrait drawing practice. Every day we draw a portrait together. This is just a great way to see a lot of faces, to practice a lot, to also be drawing with a wonderful community. I really appreciate everyone that comes and draws. This is a very spontaneous live stream today. So I just announced it 2 minutes ago, and you may be watching the replay of this video. And if you were here yesterday, you'll recognize Edward Dalzell, who was a man of many names, because I worked on this reference image yesterday, but I was thinking there's so much more going on. I'll show you yesterday's picture because I wanted to start with the month of value, focusing on value with doing just this 2-value portrait. So it's just ink and paper. And there's so many interesting, subtle things happening in the reference that I thought it'd be so much fun to work from this image again. So I hope for those of you drawing along that you're also open to the idea of working from the same reference twice, because I think it's going to be totally worth it. Yeah, you may have just seen I've been recording my Patreon video, my monthly video, and still on last month's theme. The idea was creating portraits without line, so working with shapes. And I have just been going hard on the crayons the past couple of days. I've been using these Stockmar brand crayons, which if you want to know exactly what these crayons are, get in touch. I can share a link with you. And here, graphite. So these are the 2 images I made for my latest Patreon tutorial, which is focused on building up a portrait without line. So there's a bit of line here, and as I think Martina said, a line is a shape, which is very true. But the focus of the month in May was to construct a portrait going in with shapes, so making a portrait without line, and that's what I was tackling with these, which is about to be uploaded as a tutorial, which I just made. But for today's daily practice, we're moving into values again, and I really want to work from this reference again. So I hope that you're going to enjoy it too. And perhaps I will share an alternate reference to the chat, which is the full figure of Edward Dalzell. And if you want to do another version from the same image, or at least more of the figure, because there are a couple, some of the images, was it that one? That's not really full figure, but I'll just put that in for now. That's a bit more of the figure. So a really cool thing about this book that I have of these mugshots is often, like you can see here, there would be a portrait and a full figure photo combined. So that, hey Lewis, you were just starting to cook for the family lunch. I just had lunch. I'll see. I'll put the full figure photo into the Discord server as well. Here we go. He's not wearing shoes. Look. So if you want a variation on the image that we worked on yesterday, I'm going to upload this. I'll take a photo and send it right to the Discord chat right now. And so that, oh wait, oh, there's another one as well. There's also there's a hatless Edward. Oh, I'll share both of them. So you can pick what you would like to work from if you want to work on something different. But I really like, there's so much going on in all these subtle value variations that I thought I'd really love to work from the same image again. So that's what I'm going to do. But here, for those of you in the Discord server, I'll just... Oh, I put it in the wrong chat. I put it in Welcome and Rules. Wait a minute. I'll share the link with you to the chat. And 7 of you are here. We're about to start working on this portrait. And this link, I'm just putting in the live chat right now. You can follow that. And if you go to the daily reference thread in the Discord server, if you're not already on the Discord server, I'm about to share the alternate references. So if you already were drawing along yesterday and you'd like to work on a different image, then you'll be able to get them from the daily reference right now. I put them right there. So what I want to do is I'm going to get closer, and I want to focus more on all this. Yeah, there's a lot of like subtle variation within the portrait. And I'm going to use the calligraphy pen, maybe a combination of the parallel pen and this Howlitz pen to explore the idea of hatching and bringing in kind of tonal variation in the values, because it's going to be values all month. Astrid's here. So cool. Hello, hello. Who else is here? I'm amazed that 7 of you are here with this unplanned, unannounced, spontaneous live stream. It's always a treat to have people sign in. So if you're here, please let me know. And I guess I can start in a similar way to yesterday. So I'm using a water-soluble ink, although I'm not going to use water with it today. But this is the parallel pen with Pelican Brilliant Black ink. And I'm going to get much closer on the portrait today. So I'm still using the same reference, though I did just share 2 alternate references to the Discord server, which are also really cool. And yeah, yesterday I was talking about... Hi, Christina. Message retracted, but now I know you're here. Thank you for saying something or saying nothing in the chat. Who else is here? So I look forward to having my Patreon video uploaded. I found my topic last month really interesting and kind of challenging, but it's been, the more I've kind of dealt with it, I feel like the more interesting and the more potential I'm discovering in this idea that I was exploring last month. So here, the line variation with these calligraphy pens, the parallel pen or the Howlitz pen, which I'll probably use in a bit as well, is something which I just love so much. And that is something which I will use. I'm gonna start with this eye and really do the eye, and then I'm gonna expand out from it. Nice to see you here in the chat, Christina. So I'll get a bit closer and see if I can focus. Yeah. And yeah, just the interplay, the interaction of these different shapes is a really interesting. And here, so now I wanted to talk a bit about hatching, because I really enjoy vertical hatching, which is a kind of stylized, economized way of showing some value variation. And yeah, it's a way that I like. It was kind of, I think I started thinking about this as a way to draw when I really love Mike Mignola and Hellboy, and I've talked about this a few times before, but if you're familiar with his work, it's just amazing how the shape design is really incredible, and the shadows would just be blocks of black ink, and with no subtlety. It's just like, boom, this is black, this is shadow, everything is dark here, which was something which was really like amazing at the time, because I remember I was kind of getting lost in value studies, and sometimes I was kind of challenged with like, oh, there's so much going on within the shadows, and there's like all this, there's so much, always so much that we can potentially draw or paint and represent. And then to see someone so boldly just be like, everything that's in shadow is just black, we don't need to see it. And so I kind of took a cue from that with this kind of thing, like shading, just filling in black with ink. And then just kind of from there, expanding from that idea. It was like, how, with just black ink, how can I also communicate some tonal variation? And then I was like, I kind of liked the texture when I would fill a space just with vertical lines. And that kind of became a thing I did for quite a while. And I was looking back through some of the first online lessons I ever did were with the calligraphy pen, with the Sketchy Art School. And at that time, I was really into the calligraphy pen, and I was building up kind of any kind of tonal variation and subtlety was all just like established with vertical hatching, and all using the one tool, which is also something that's kind of stuck. I really enjoy doing as much as possible just with one pen. And it's kind of amazing how many levels of variation and the subtlety that can be established with what, when I first started using it, I felt like ink is not a very subtle medium. But of course, there are ways that we can use it depending on what tools we're using, which you can really create amazing textures and subtlety, and there's a lot of variations to how we build things up. And I thought it'd be interesting for this month. I think I'll focus on ink, talking about value. Because I feel like reducing it rather than exploring color. So color and value is very interesting, but having a grasp on value without thinking about color, that is definitely the way in my my development. I guess how it went. I focused a lot on ink, and I felt like it helped me really get a grasp on understanding value. And so I thought that could be interesting for this month, focusing on ink, and I will use a few different ways. And this could be tying into an idea for a course, which I've thought about. I did a calligraphy pen portraiture course a couple of years ago, and I thought it would be really interesting and to come back to ink and to do another course, because I also feel like in the practice and experience that I've been gathering over the last couple of years, that I've found new ways to work with ink and with these pens in particular, which I feel like would be a really nice addition. So anyone who has done that course already, or anyone who's thinking about doing an inking course with me, this is an idea that I'm having that I think could be really cool. So I have a couple ideas for courses coming up, and I'm looking for a way to host my own courses, and I think it's a really interesting idea for me. So I have my Patreon courses, my tutorials, which is like a monthly themed tutorial. And something I've been thinking about for a while is what would be the best way to host my own courses. And I have a lot of different ideas for things that I would like to share and explore. And what I'm doing here in the daily practice in these tutorials is also like each time it's like a glimpse into a possibility that I realize could just be always expanded upon ever further, that there's so much to unpack and explore. Like the tutorial I was just filming this morning, I was like, wow, there's so much more I want to get into. Oh, cool. Astrid, you just booked my calligraphy pen course. Thank you. So good. Enjoy it. I think it's really good. But I have been thinking for a while, it would be fun to kind of revisit ink and kind of go further, go deeper into it. So it won't be like a replacement of that course, but it will definitely be like an expansion of some of the ideas and ways to work. Mark is here. Hello, Mark. Do I ever use water with ink? I sure do. Haven't you seen them? This year, some of my favorite pieces that I've done in this sketchbook ink, like this pen, and then using water, and I love it. I really do like it a lot. You saw this pen in another video, and wow, it was really interesting. If anyone's interested, in my description there is a link to Amazon if you use Amazon, and you can get this pen by following the link, and I get a cut. And I've seen that some of you have already bought stuff from my Amazon link, and so far I've earned I've got €7 coming to me in commissions from people buying stuff by following my link. So thank you so much. Piece by piece, it all comes together, euro by euro. I get for these live streams, these daily live streams, I get €1 a day. So that's 30. And just in the past week from the pen commissions, I've gotten 7. So that's 37. But fortunately, that's not the only way I make money. But bit by bit, it all adds up, I guess. This, just as it is right now, I feel like is really interesting. You could just step away and say, okay, that's it. That's interesting. I'm just going to leave it there. Wait a minute, Lewis. Am I only going to draw the details? No, but I just thought I'd start from the eye and see what happens. But now I feel oh, this is really interesting, just like this. So I took a photo because I'm going to keep going. I'm not just drawing the details. But compared to the one I did yesterday, I thought I really want to explore some of the expression and the subtlety in the tonal variations. And that's why I'm kind of zooming in on the portrait. So as I finished it yesterday, I felt like there are 100 different ways to draw this. And on the topic of exploring values, I felt oh, there's so many different ways we could work with it, and so much to explore. And so then when I was thinking today, who are we going to draw today? I was the same image again, because I just feel I'm not done. So many of the images that I've worked on in the daily practice, I'm just oh, that would be so cool to work on that again. So this time I've just gone straight back to it. Yeah, and anyone who's tuned in a bit later and you're oh, what? This is the same reference as yesterday. I put 2 alternate references in the Discord server. So also of Edward Dalzell. And if you want to, you can draw from those alternate references. So I'm happy to have my Patreon tutorial filmed. And I was having a chat with Kira. I often have a lot of good chats with Kira, a lot about my business and the things that I do. And she was oh, your business has really kind of become your life. It's your hobby, it's your social life, and it's all of this drawing. I'm pretty awesome. No, I'm pretty awesome. I'm pretty chuffed. I'm pretty happy about the fact. I think it's awesome that I get to draw so much and to be with you, and that I've been able to make so much of that, this drawing people together, this love and fascination of people and life, to have been able to find a way and keep finding ways to make that my business, focusing on that and sharing this passion and curiosity with so many of you is that's what I think is awesome, that I'm able to do so much of this. So thank you to everyone who's here and participating and supporting and learning together in whatever way. So what was I saying with Kira? Oh yeah, so I've been wondering about the rhythm of my Patreon tutorials, because I have this monthly theme, and then I so far, almost half a year now, that I've been focusing. I have my monthly theme, and then I do a month of focusing on a certain way of drawing. And then once that's finished, I film a tutorial. And sometimes it's like, okay, I'm at the end of the month, and then it's in the next month that the tutorial gets released, and then I've already moved on to the next topic. And it's kind of like, oh, it'd be cool to keep it all within, like, within the particular topic, whatever it is that I'm focused on. And now it's kind of like I'm stepping into thinking about values, but the shapes tutorial, drawing without line, is going to be coming out in the coming, like, hopefully by tomorrow. So it's like I've already moved on, but then, and for you, if you're working from the tutorials, it's kind of like, oh, we moved on to the next thing, and now the tutorial focuses on the thing we did last month. So yeah, talking with Kira was trying to find a way, and she's a teacher, just a born teacher of many things. And she was also like, yeah, it'd be really cool to be able to put it all together rather than to break away from what the topic is and then go on to the next thing. So from this month onwards, so I'm about to release this tutorial from last month's topic. And from this month on, I'm going to endeavor to, by the third weekend of the month, I will try and have the tutorial done. And then the final week of the month, we will keep exploring the topic, like values in this case, but the tutorial will already be done. So the way I've done it so far is I've done like 4 weeks of sketching, and then at the end of the 4 weeks, I'm like, what did I get out of this? What's interesting? What would be interesting to share from this kind of exploration? And now my goal, thanks to this conversation with Kira, is that I will in future endeavor to have my Patreon tutorial done by the third weekend of the month. So I'm going to be exploring different ideas. And then by the time we get 3/4 of the way into the month, then I will have already focused kind of what I think I'm getting out of the practice and package that into the tutorial video, and then we'll keep that focus for the remainder of the month. But I feel like it's gonna group it nicely within that particular theme, rather than moving on to the next topic and still having like the tutorial, if that makes sense to you. Christina, drawing faces with me is always fun. With Grease is funny too. Grease is so cool, and I'm glad you think so, Christina. Mark, you only found this channel and my work a few weeks ago. You'll look up the watered ink. That's amazing. I feel like you've been here for so long. I recognize you. I appreciate your input, Mark. So yeah, it's funny to think you've only been here a couple of weeks. But yeah, over the weekend, the past few pieces I did, and once I'm finished here, I will just flip the pages back to show you the watered ink. Because yeah, it's such a fun way to work. So this is interesting. The vertical hatching portraits I've done in the past. I haven't done it so much with the parallel pen, but I have with this other calligraphy pen, which I held up in the beginning, but have not yet used. And the variation, the line variation with this pen is so cool. Like the thick, inky, blocky mark making that's possible, and then it's really interesting to have that then kind of playing along with this super thin, like almost like fine liner width of line. But I'm noticing where I want a bit more, I want to intensify the values. So there's a couple of ways to do it. And one is either you put those super thin lines closer together. But what I've done in the past with the calligraphy pen is, rather than using the thinnest possible line, is to thicken up some of the lines. So you have this variation of line thickness, which is creating a different sense of value. And and the way that I've done it with the other pen, and maybe I could just bring it up here. Like over here, where, like, rather than, so with this pen, which has a thinner nib, though it is still a broad flat edge nib, so that is a different line quality here, but just turning it at an angle and drawing that way, rather than going totally on the edge or the side, like I can get thick lines but thinner than the lines here. So the combination there is kind of interesting. And for anywhere where it's like there's a darker value, that using that broader line is then a way to imply that darker value. And the whole thing could just be done with the one pen. I could also use the parallel pen the same way, like twist it and tilt it so that, rather than the full width of the line, I'm using like an angle that's slightly, like a slightly thicker line. Because there's this, and there's this, and there's everything in between, depending on how far you're like twisting the pen. Mark, how did you find my channel? You say you only found it a couple of weeks ago. It's just like a random YouTube suggested thing, or that would be interesting to know. Oh, and by the way, because I was gone for a couple of days, some of the videos I'm talking about where I used water with the ink, you'll find them not in the live archive, but you'll find them in the videos section. So my 3 most recent videos, because I pre-recorded them and uploaded them, the 3 most recent videos you'll find in the videos tab of my channel. Because they were not live streamed, they were premiered as videos. So if you're looking for them, if you're curious on that ink and water approach, some of them, there are quite a few you'll find in the live replays, but my 3 most recent videos in the video section will be what I'm talking about there. And what are people's plans for the rest of the day? I'm going to be editing the video, trying to get my Patreon video ready for uploading. And I've got to do tax stuff this week. Sometime soon I'm going to be painting on the ground at the place where I did the workshop with kids, the basketball court. that I was working on last month with some white paint. It's going to be pretty minimal, but it's going to be something, and I think it'll be interesting. So once I've got that's the final thing of that workshop, because they only just last week they cleaned the ground. So now I'll be able to paint something onto the ground. And it's not the main part of that project, but it's going to make a difference. So Mark, you found me looking for live streams to paint along with. That's perfect. So good. Hi, Barry from Holland. This is the second time you tried to draw a portrait from me. You like my channel very much. Thank you for my time and the examples. You're very welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. I was in Holland on the weekend. Well, in the Achterhoek, by near Zutphen. Whereabouts in Holland are you, Barry? It's nice to have you here. Oh yeah, I'll zoom out. So this is a lot established in the face now, and I've started moving to the periphery in the hat, just to fill in some of that dark shape. And I think it's interesting that having these two drawings alongside each other of the same reference, and one is like zoomed in and has more value variation. And as I'm filling this in, I'm thinking, oh, I could just use the brush. If I just grab a big brush, it'd be so much quicker to fill that ink in. But this is interesting. I guess talking about vertical hatching is there's an interesting the kind of the gaps and the error in between gives it an interesting kind of textural look. And if anyone's wondering about the paper I'm working on, this is Hanemühle Nostalgie. And part of the reason I really like this paper, because with the calligraphy pen, I feel it's the right amount of wetness that this paper can handle. And I know if I went and used the brush, it would be possible I could use the brush and ink on here. But it's like that next level of wetness that the paper's kind of starts to warp, and this amount of moisture with the calligraphy pens, I feel like this is kind of a good paper for this kind of drawing. Oostvoorne. You're from Rotterdam. Cool. I lived in Belgium for a while and learned Vlaams. I lived in Tienen, and I thought I was going to live in Maastricht, but then I moved to Germany. But I learned some Dutch, and I really enjoyed my time in the Dutch-speaking part of Europe. It was like when I first came to Europe. So I did a bike trip, and I hitchhiked around and met a lot of wonderful people, and it was really quite a special time. So I have a lot of positive associations with the Netherlands and Belgium. Astrid, you love watching how I work with the parallel pen. Thank you. I'm honoured and happy to be able to share it with you. I'm glad you enjoy it. I feel like it's such a diverse pen. I think it's really interesting. And as I'll show you once I've wrapped this up, I will show you the combination with water. I really find it It's such a fun drawing tool. And I have done some murals, and my mural work, when I first had the opportunity to do these murals, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And because I felt like it was at a time when I was exploring a lot of different kind of approaches to doing things. And at that time, I was doing a lot of these calligraphy pen portraits. And then I was like, I know, I'll just do like calligraphy pen portraits, but on walls. And I thought I would just scale up the size of the drawing tool. So rather than using these broad nibbed calligraphy pens, I just had big, broad, flat brushes. And I felt like the style transfer worked really well, just by having the work surface be a wall, and just making the drawing tool that much bigger, but working with the same mindset of like, okay, it's just like using a calligraphy pen. It's just really, really big. So that's it's a way of drawing that I really enjoy. And I feel like there's quite a lot of variation possible. It's really fun to find a tool which is really enjoyable to use, and then to discover new ways. Like I feel like this year, with the combination of water, that I've kind of found a new way with this pen, which is really exciting me. So it's cool to have something that you already really like, and then to realize, oh, there are other things I can do with this too. It's pretty cool. I feel like I'm getting pretty close to the end of this now. And it's interesting having these two alongside a very different image. And both of them have been, I think, a valuable study of this reference, and also the idea of how we look at values. So what I was hoping to show with this version is how with a pen, and with this, like, where if we look here and it's like this solid black ink, and what is a very big chunky tool, how it's actually really possible to also working a bit bigger helps to add more kind of variation to the way we work with it, and we can create really, really interesting drawings. And it's I could feel like I could go even further. I could keep, because there's if I look at this, I'm like, okay, the highlight is really here and here, and everything else is really kind of darker shades of grey. So I could keep pushing that if I wanted to, but I kind of feel like I'm at a point where that could be enough for today's practice. So thank you all so much for joining me here. It's been nice to chat a bit. Mark, you did catch one of the pre-recorded ones, yes, and you were half doing something else. Thank you for watching, even though you were half doing something else. A great idea is you can just let my videos play while you're doing housework. Because apparently the more watch hours, the more my stuff gets shown to other people. So thank you for watching my videos while doing something else. That's great. Hatching is a meditation. Yes, totally. Like when you're just getting into, it's such an interesting way of building up that value variation. It's really well put. It can very much be a meditation. Like once things are in place, and we've got the structure of the face, we've put the facial features where we think they go, then it can be like, now I'm going to add value, I'm going to render, I'm going to just spend time kind of building up the intricacies of all this value variation. Yes, it's really can be a very, very meditative process. That's wonderful. Barry, can you send the drawing somewhere? Yeah, for sure. If you're on Instagram, you could tag me and you could share it to your stories. But I also I posted earlier at the beginning of this stream, I posted a link, and I'll put it in the live chat again, to my community server. This is a Discord server, and if you get the Discord app, you can use that link, and there is a chat called Daily Reference, and there are almost 400 people in the Discord server, and it's a place for sharing our work. I share the reference there, and I, in the near future, as per Lewis's suggestion, I'm going to make a YouTube video about the Discord server, because I think for now, when you go in there, just look for the daily drawing chat, and you'll find people, you'll find the reference, and that's where people are sharing. And I think there's so much potential and possibility, and it can, if you see all of the different chats, it may seem a bit much. So I'm going to make a video soon explaining that. But also, if you go to the daily reference chat in the Discord server, you'll be able to visit the tagged posts, the pinned posts, and you'll be able to find a lot of the most recent references that we've been working from. So that's also a nice feature there. And when you look at each other's work, look at what's been posted there, you can look at it in high resolution. I think it's a really nice way to share our work. So the Discord server is the best place to do it. And there's a lovely community there, people sharing their work and sharing their thoughts and ideas about drawing. And sometimes when people have done really well and they're happy to show something, sometimes they're like, no, this didn't work so well. But then everyone's there to support each other. It's really great. I really appreciate everyone's participation there. All right. So I'm getting close to saying that's it for today. If you've made it this far, please put your drawing hand emoji in the chat. And thank you. 7 viewers, 7 likes. Perfect. That's 100%. But I imagine there'll be quite a few people watching the replay. So in the comments, please put your drawing hand emoji and like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're interested in getting exactly this pen, there are links in the description that will take you to Amazon, should you choose to purchase there. There's a US store and there's a German store. I'd be curious for anyone in any other countries, if you go and follow that link, are you still able to purchase the pen in your country? Because someone asked recently, I think from Canada, and those are the two kind of stores I'm working on setting up, and there'll be more on that soon as well, because I'm setting up, sharing my entire list of all the cool stuff that I use, because there's always questions. If anyone's interested in any of that stuff, you'll be able to see it. I'll share that soon. All right, that was fun. It said deliver to UK. Yeah, so if you just say deliver to UK, I guess that will work too. Thank you for being here, everyone. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Barry, cool. You've posted it in Discord. Excellent. I look forward to seeing it. Everyone post your work on Discord. And we'll be here again sometime tomorrow. Thank you, dear friends. And I said I would look at some of the watery ink drawings, and I just remembered. So I hope this is pretty dry. And I'll take you back to much earlier in the year, where I first did these. Yeah, I started doing these inky watery drawings, and I was like, oh wow, I can just take the ink from my line work and spread it across the portrait. And there was some that I did. Oh yeah, this one is so all of these are available as replays in the live section of my YouTube channel. So this is a method of working which I feel like I've just kind of I may have done this in the past. I've definitely worked in ink wash in the past, but this way of working with the pen and just taking the ink from the line work, I think is really exciting and immediate, because you only need a couple of tools for it. So these are some pieces that I feel have been really fun and successful this year. And as I said earlier, thinking about making a new inking course, I'm thinking there'll be a lot of that kind of stuff in there. So here's a couple more. So you can draw along with all of these and more on the replays on my YouTube channel. And as I mentioned, today I have recorded these for my drawing without line theme tutorial, which will be available very soon. And if you enjoy my work and drawing along and would like to learn from the tutorials, then check out my Patreon. There are many links in the description. Yeah. Yes, Mark, go back into the live vaults there, and you'll be able to see, because I put the image in the thumbnail for each of the live videos. So the ones that I just showed you, you see, oh, that one, and you can just go to exactly the portrait that you're interested in and follow along with that. Hi Kitty. Not showing on Amazon Spain, but delivers there, it says. Okay. I have ordered stuff from Amazon US, books, which I could not get in the German Amazon, from American artists, and had them delivered to Germany. But yeah, I guess where there's a will, there's a way. Thanks everyone. See you tomorrow.